Hi everyone, this is Cherry Enchantress with Pixie Dust Tarot, and this is your daily dust for Tuesday, May 9th if you're watching in real time, but it can also be for whenever you stumble upon it. It's a timeless reading. I like to use a different tarot deck every day. Sometimes I have to repeat, and sometimes I throw in an oracle card deck. This time I am using, again, the Crystal Unicorn Tarot, one of my favorites. It's a very adorable deck by Pamela Chen. It is a poof yourself into a magical forest. It is a like a Rider-Waite Smith clone, but with unicorns instead of people. So I like it. I like it very much. I think if I do when I do my fairy deck, it's gonna be. I think I might try to do something like this, either like an everyday witch deck or a clone. So. Or sort somewhere in between the two. All right, let's see what we get. Those are my inspirations. My first inspiration was actually called the Tarot of Inspiration, which had pre-Raphaelite images, and I was like, oh yeah. Those are my favorite types of drawings, paintings. I like realism, but for a big deck, 78 images, have to tone down the realism and make it a little bit more, just a little bit more graphic. And so that's why I'm getting into more of digital art. So you can check out my Patron page so you can see some of the digital art stuff that I've been working on, the tutorials I've been doing, and how I'm learning a little bit more and more. And now, let's see what we have. 3 cards to get a collective message. We have the 10 of Wands. Comes out a lot. It's good. Everybody's working hard. It's another one of these hard working days. The Knight of Swords. Good. And ooh, the World. That's great. That's a really good finish to the day. Now, sometimes these energies can be clues to more than one, a further event as well, but it can also all happen in one particular day. I'm going to zoom in and see what messages we get. So usually with 10 of Wands, I like, my favorite message for 10 of Wands is kind of like a pleasure, a burden, but a pleasure, and also the final push to, to achievement or something. So it's like climbing this hill, running up the hill, gotta deal with God. And you're almost there and you're about to ready to make it. And sometimes you need a little second win. It's the marathon run. It's sometimes though it is carrying on too much. Sometimes it's carrying on things that you don't actually need to carry. So there's times where we just take too much upon ourselves. We don't have to do all of these things. It's not our job. And sometimes it is our job and our duty. And we're the only ones that can do it. And we have to see it through. So you have to sort of determine where you are here. You can also determine if you need to set it down for a moment, or you can determine if you need to delegate and give people responsibilities and get them to help you. This reminds me of a moment where I was a young mama and I was watching Oprah Winfrey, and she was I don't know who she was talking to, but they were talking about chores and giving jobs to your kids. And I was a very OCD kind of person. I guess I still am a little bit, but definitely back then I was very uptight about how things are folded and how you put things away and this and that. And they were just talking about let your kids help you with the laundry, help you fold things. And it just like made me have a tick in my eye to think about it. But then they're like, what pleasure would it be to know that your child folded that, or your child helped you? What you're teaching your kid to participate, to be part of the process, to be part of, the taking care of things. And that's a good message to send. Also, when you're doing mundane things like folding clothes or washing clothes, like pick them up to your face and take a deep breath in and just like really savor the fact that you have children and you have clothes and that they're wearing them. And this is, to me, is a little bit of a hug your kids kind of card too sometimes. You know, we get a little tired about our chores, our duties, even mundane jobs that a lot of people grumble about. Hey, you have a job and some other people don't. So it's I feel like this is kind of one of those things. It's like, you know, being glad for the things that you do have, for sure. But it also is about maybe it's important to delegate some of your duties. You know, don't get to the point where you start to resent things, right? I mean, you should be doing it because you want to do it. Maybe you don't outright love it all the time, every second of the minute, but you should at least have a desire and want to do it, you know? And if you don't, maybe try to find the good in it. And if you can't, then maybe those are warning signs to change into a different direction. But I think it's definitely a kind of perspective thing. What can you do in this moment? Like, do you need to set it down? Do you need a little break? Do you need a little breather? Do you need to give other people responsibilities? Is it only something that you can do? You just got to push through. You're almost there. Things like that. So but you're going to make it. The promise of the 10 of Wands is victory at the end. So it's always a good card to me. It has a little work involved in it, but it's always a good ending. So the Knight of Swords is like this major truth is rushing in. It's like slapping you across the face or something. It's a fearless kind of, you know, moving into a different direction maybe. Being a little bit impulsive sometimes. But this is somebody who's very skilled and knowledgeable and finding the path to victory. So it's interesting, like maybe you are or literally, or maybe just figuratively running some kind of race. You go through phases of this. Like say you do something like the MS 150, like a bike race. You pull off at the station where they have food or they have supplies to keep you going. You need a moment, but then like you have like a burst of energy after that, or maybe you needed a cup of coffee or something. Whatever you did, you really are full swing after a good swig of coffee, and you're ready to go, and you're ready to face the world and all the fun that comes with being out and about in the world, whether it's you physically being in the world, whether it's you traveling in your mind and on the internet or wherever. The world is kind of like your oyster here. The world is about completion. So you are completing something, at least in this day, and maybe you're heading towards completion in something else. The world is such a happy card because it's triumph and it's your dreams coming true. It's called sometimes the rapture, and it's got a lot of good words that contained within. It's like fulfillment, attainment, full circle. You have the four corners of the world, and they're represented by the four fixed signs: Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo, and Taurus. And those, you could be either any of those four fixed signs or be dealing with people like that. The fixedness about those signs sometimes can be difficult to handle, but in some cases it's a wonderful thing. If you have a partner or somebody who's fixed, their love is never wavering. There's this loyalty and a assuredness behind the fixed signs that is very in one aspect to me refreshing and comforting at the same time. Even if they can be a little stubborn about some things that they need to be flexible about, at least as far as love concerned, you can feel sure that it's the real deal, and they're stuck to you and you're stuck with them, that kind of energy. So that's a good thing if you're wondering about that. But I feel like in work, because the 10 of Wands gives me this work direction. In work, it's almost like there's going to be some kind of full speed ahead. You're ready to go. Some news coming in or something that after a bit of rest or after taking that second breath, you're just like ready to charge, and you're really headed towards a great success here. So, and this is kind of like a sure thing. It feels sure because it's the fixed energy. It feels sure. So I hope you like that. Faith, Trust, and Pixie Dust.